Hello, magnified souls. It is so exciting to be with you again today. There has been, as I said, so much that is coming to me, and I have been writing in my journal page after page after page. And so today I asked my team, what should I talk about? And they want to continue on in the theme of where we give away our power and how to recognize when we do it and give us a little bit of an idea of what to do to take it back. And I really loved this because as I thought about it, where do I give my power away? Our entire lives, we are taught to give our power away. We are taught that people will judge us if we say certain things, if we look a certain way, if we act a certain way. We are taught not to be ourselves, not to be our true selves, because we're told we're too loud or too much or not enough. And as a consequence, parts of us get hurt and they go into hiding, so to speak. We cover them up, we bury them. We don't want people to see who we really are. And that's part of why I started this channel, is so that I can learn to speak my truth. All of my life, I have been told to be quiet. Don't speak up. Nothing that you have to say is of any consequence. And at the time, I was very young, and they would say things like, you don't know enough to tell an adult what to do. I was quite outspoken, and I slowly learned to shut that off to the point that I became so very, very shy. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I would hide behind trees. I would hide behind my mom. I would hide all the time so that I wouldn't have to speak. I even remember one time being called upon in class and I couldn't get my voice out. And it came out in this little whisper like this. And I still notice that on these videos, I have a tendency to hold back my voice. This is wounding. This is something that is inside me that says, Sandra, you are too much. People can't handle that, and they don't want to hear what you have to say. So I am here today to do just that. Because you know what? When I don't speak my truth, or when you don't speak your truth, you're cutting yourself off from your spirit. We want to magnetize the universe to us. We want to raise our frequency so our life flows effortlessly. We receive the abundance we want. We receive the love that we want. But if we're constantly giving our power away to somebody else because we fear being our true self, then are we really raising our vibration? And I read something today that really hit home, and maybe that's why they wanted me to talk about this today. The question was, if I had no fear, what would I do? If I had no fear of being judged, of being too much or too little, of the way I look, what would I do with my life? And it is a huge question because If I answer that honestly, I can say I would love nothing more than to spend my days painting, playing music, reading books. I would love to travel around the world to all these amazing places. If I had no fear, I would do these things. But what does hold me back right now? It's that fear of being seen, of being heard, of not being lovable enough, of not being enough. And you know what? We are enough. Just by being a soul here on earth makes us enough. Every single one of us is enough. And we should have no fear of being ourself. So when I asked myself that question, I began to realize that the things that I'm not doing that I really want to do, maybe it's quitting a job, maybe it is taking a new class, maybe it is um, doing improv, but you don't do it because you're scared. That's giving our power away. And so I'm beginning to realize that I also need to look at my internal state of being. Each time I give my power away, there's a feeling inside that I have. It's a feeling of shrinking, it's a feeling of wanting to hide. It may be different for you, but the key is to really look inside when you don't do something that you want to do. When you don't speak up in a meeting because you're afraid somebody will make fun of you, somebody will judge you, somebody will criticize you, somebody will think the idea is crazy or stupid. In that moment, we're giving our power away to something out there instead of turning inward and saying to ourselves, I'm the creator of my reality. I'm going to say what I want when I want it, when I want to. And I I will do it in a way that is has integrity. Because I think that's the key is to act always with integrity in the world. We don't want to, in taking our power back to ourselves, lash out at somebody else because of that feeling of lack within ourselves. We want to really look inward and begin to identify what the fear is about. So if I don't speak up into a meeting, why? Why am I not speaking up? And it's because I was told not to speak up. It's because I'm holding myself back because I think I'm going to be called a name. I'm going to be judged. These are my fears. They may not be yours, but I suspect that when you're holding yourself back from doing something, when you're giving your power away to another person, there's an underlying reason why that's happening. And the goal is for us to begin to face these times when we give our power away so that we can uncover the wound that lives deep down within us. Because if we don't uncover that wound that lives deep down inside, we'll never be able to speak the truth that we need to speak. We'll never be able to be the person that we want to be, that we dream of being. So ask the question, if I had no fear, what would I do in this moment? And then write in your journal about it. Ask that question. Ask your spirit team for help in uncovering the answer. I have found that when I do that, my pen starts to kind of go all on its own. Now, I have to breathe, I have to get into that space. But when I do, the answers come, and they're often quite short and succinct. And it calls for a lot of self reflection, self examination. It calls for some personal accountability. What does that mean? That means taking responsibility for the way we feel, taking responsibility for giving our power away. You see, if you don't give your power away, you are then fully responsible for the outcome. We're no longer the victim. We can't blame anybody else. We have to look within ourselves and begin to say, I am the creator. I make the decisions in my life, and I dictate the outcome. And I have the ability to respond to any situation that comes up. I choose, I decide, I become the creator of my reality. I'm in charge of me. And in doing that, you begin to honor your divinity. You begin to honor the spirit that lives within you, the soul that came here to live a certain dream. The ego, which is our mind, loves to say, ooh, I'm going to look back into the past, and here's the reasons you shouldn't do this. And oh, by the way, I'm going to also look and project into the future of all these crazy things that might happen if you decide to take full responsibility for who you are. Because your ego says, that's not safe. But it's time for us to tell our ego to step back. It is time for us to lead with our heart. I had a vision the other night about what it means to be a light leader. And I didn't intend to go into this, but I will. I had a vision that I was a meteor shooting through the darkness. And as I was shooting through the darkness, I wasn't worried about my light. I wasn't worried about what I might look like to somebody else. I was shooting forward without any concern about what the future, what might be before me, the unknown. I knew I was fully capable. I was filled with light. And I knew, how the tail of the meteor is behind. I knew that all that light that was following me were other souls that needed my light in order to be able to see their own. And they wanted to follow. And they wanted to follow my light. And I also realized that as a leader, think about a bird that leads in that V formation. Do they ever look back behind to see who's following? They know that everybody in the flock who is meant to follow them will follow. They know instinctively that those who are not meant to follow won't. They know instinctively that some may be a little slower, that some may be a little weaker, but they know that in the end, everyone that's supposed to get there will. We are light leaders. It is time for us to step into that role of leader. It is time for us to take our power back, our personal power, not power like a somebody who has power over anybody else. We have no power over anybody else. None whatsoever. You cannot control any other person. You can't control when they wake up. You can't control what they say. You can't control how they think. The only person you have control over is you. So take control of you. Investigate who you are. Investigate what lights you up. What would you do if you were not afraid? Because when you ask that question, you ignite one of the universal laws, the law of imagination. The law of imagination says, imagine whatever you want. I imagine a world that is filled with unconditional love. I imagine a world that is peaceful and kind and compassionate. I imagine a world where the animals in nature are free to be who they are. I imagine a world that is safe. I imagine traveling the world. I imagine being unconditionally loved. What do you imagine? Feel when you go into your imagination, feel inside the body. What does that feel like? Feel it. Is there excitement? Is there a feeling of uplifting? You see, when you give your power away, feel what that feels like. Feel it. For me, it's a heaviness inside. It goes deep within my bones. It's like a weed that has taken root inside my body. And it has grown so deep, and its little tentacles go everywhere. It's time to pull that weed out completely wholly. That weed is our fears. Feel. When you give your power away, you will know it. It feels heavy. It doesn't feel uplifting. And then imagine what it would be like, especially if you don't know how to take your power back. Imagine yourself saying what you want to say. Write it out in your journal. In this meeting, I imagined myself speaking my truth. I imagined myself saying XYZ. I imagined the surprise on people's faces. I imagine it all. Imagine and then feel it in your body and write down how that feels. This is truly an inside job. And now is the time for us to rise up as light leaders so we can step into our role of being that shooting meteorite through the night where everybody sees our light and says, oh my gosh, that's what I want. I want to be that light. And they begin to follow. They don't even know why they're following. But at some point, they'll begin to notice their own light, and they may even shoot off and be a meteor of their own. How exciting would that be? So I encourage you, begin to ask, what am I? What would I do if I had no fear? And really be honest with yourself. And what would I imagine my life to be if I could be anything? And feel into that. You begin to really get a sense of every time you start to give that power away, you'll know it. And then you can begin to imagine how you'll be. And before you know it, things will start to come out of your mouth that you never even imagined would come out. Why? Because you're stepping into your truth, the truth of who you are. You are a divine being. You are a creator of your reality. You are the light of the world. You are everything and nothing. We are all connected through our energy. And the more of us that rise up into our frequency, into the fullness of our frequency, into the fullness of our divinity, the faster the frequency of this planet will rise because we are all connected. We are all one and we play off of each other. Take your power back. Be the light, for you are the creator. Thank you for listening today.